Welcome to Delightfully Dysfunctional, a podcast about navigating the emotions of the human condition and the challenges that come with it. I'm Kaylani Persian Mason, a psychotherapist and life coach with James Timmons, an ever-curious human. This is not a replacement for mental health therapy. Please seek out mental health care if that's what you're needing. This is an opportunity for self-healers to dive deep and understand more about themselves. Welcome back to Delightfully Dysfunctional. I'm Kaylani, and I'm here with James.
Howdy, y'all.
Whoa.
Coming in hot.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. Yeah.
Oh, man. Our podcasting day has been all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
We haven't had our consistent zone.
But I am faithful that in no time, this is going to be our day job.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
and
right, folks.
and
We're
it'll be
putting it
like,
out there.
oh, we did 4 episodes today from 9 to 5. Nah, well, actually, that would be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. Last week was super duper busy.
Yeah,
I had 2 speaking engagements and then I had an all weekend training. So I have not really had a day off.
I'm so excited though that you are doing speaking engagements because I told you early on in this endeavor that I view you as like the future Brene Brown 2.0.
Gosh, I can't even handle that.
Well, I mean, I was so proud of you and like everyone else, what you posted about your speaking engagement, and it got a huge like warm reaction.
Yeah,
so
I really loved it. Like, and I mean, I my whole idea in starting the podcast with you was partially because during COVID there weren't opportunities to do those things.
Yeah.
And I had been doing public speaking and trainings, and so it felt really fun to revisit it. And also, I'm like not great at marketing myself. I mean, no, this podcast might beg to differ, but I come at it from a very different goal than marketing myself. So I didn't have to market any of this. I just showed up to the conference and there was a room full of people, and that was great.
Was there like a buzz? Like they all knew who you were and everything?
I don't know that they knew who I was. I'm not sure. I didn't go around asking all of them.
Like if I'm the MC and I'm introing you, it would be a pretty cool, like beefy resume, because you could say, I would say, our next speaker is host of, Delightfully or a podcast that has 80,000 total followers, and you might see her on the popular Therapist Reacts series. She's been a psychotherapist and for X amount of years, all this stuff, you know.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. It has me blushing. I don't think of myself in those terms.
Well, now
but it just felt really good. It felt really good to feel the energy of it.
That's amazing.
Really good. Because everyone was connecting and engaged, and it was fun, and I got really good feedback afterwards. So
that's great.
I hope that I get more opportunities like that. And I just made a post on our YouTube page, just letting people know. I'm like, if there is anyone in leadership or has any kind of position where it would make sense to advocate for something like this, I'd like to provide those kinds of trainings, whether it be about mental health, or we just did a podcast episode about like preventing suicide, QPR, whether it's about just better workplace dynamics and communication in the workplace. There's kind of a range of topics that really fit any workplace, because guess what? Y'all are all human.
That's true.
You're human beings.
Speaking of which, we low-key discussed the word human. Should we say it now or should we wait?
I mean, I think we should trickle it in so that they're not scared when the transition happens. Okay. Should dip a toe in.
Right now?
Yeah.
Kaylani texted me and said, I've been thinking a lot about this lately.
Yeah.
I want to change the name. And she was kind of like, you can say what, I don't know how you feel about this, James, but I kind of want to change the name to Delightfully Human. And I said, I love it. Yeah.
Yay.
And so, that will be forthcoming. I think, and that we'll talk more about it, but like maybe even like a full on like rebranding. Well, not full like rebranding, but like upping our branding,
Yeah. I think this is, I wanted to giving everyone the heads up.
Yeah.
And, I think when we started this podcast and I came up with the name, I felt like it was quirky and it felt more on brand for the style that we were serving at the time. And like I was feeling like I didn't care if I was dropping F-bombs and we were going to be quirky and just super real. And the realness is still very much there, but I've had a lot of growth through the process of this podcast.
Totally.
And any sense of really describing anyone as dysfunctional doesn't fit very well with me.
Yeah.
I love speaking to all of you delightful humans and connecting with all of you, and that title as a whole of just being more embracing the humanness of it all felt more fitting.
Like more of the beauty, celebrating the beauty, like embrace the messiness. And, but yeah, not all of us, the goal is to not be dysfunctional. The goal is to be functional.
It is. Yeah. And I think, we all come from some kind of delightful dysfunction. We've like phrased things that way before. And I feel that what we've provided and the community we've created is really striving for overcoming that.
Yeah, we have built something pretty cool, haven't we?
Oh, I've gotten to speak with some of our amazing, delightful humans, and it has been just a pure joy.
Well, if you were to if an MC were to intro me, I feel like it would be like, and our next speaker is kind of funny.
Kind of fun.
And I'd be like, thanks. You make me blush. And then
I liked my intro for you, and it's the ever curious human. That's good.
True. That's true.
That's good, and that's on brand for sure.
Yeah, I don't really have any credentials, but I do a lot of video editing.
There you go. If you got some video editing, send it on over to James.
No, don't. My hands are full. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. We put a lot of time and passion and thought into this, and it's really coming from our heart. And so it means a lot. And these two people have given us funds on YouTube. What do they call it? That sounds really strange. I think they have like better
donations.
Donated.
Yeah.
And so I want to give them a shout out. So Andrew Schwartz and Jinxie Blue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is so encouraging, and we just want to appreciate that. A lot of the reactions that we do, are copywritten, so we don't make any kind of profit on them.
Right.
And we take a lot of time and effort out of family time and out of time that we might dedicate to self-care to make sure that we really get to connect with you and share our hearts on this channel. So that's very appreciated.
If every one of our YouTube subscribers and TikTok subscribers donated $5, that'd be a lot of money.
We could do a studio upgrade.
Yeah, we could both
schnaz this place.
We could both take a year off of work for sure.
Oh my gosh!
So we're encouraging that. We'll say your name if you donate to us.
If you donate, we will give you a shout out because it's very appreciated, and we have some fun ideas coming that will come along as we transition into becoming delightfully human.
Yeah.
Woo. And also, just one more thing I find very interesting. I looked into our analytics, and it says that 90% of the people that are tuning into our channel are not subscribed. So please take a moment and subscribe. It would mean a lot to us.
Yeah. Although our subscribers, we keep growing, we keep gaining lots of new subscribers every day. So we're thankful for that.
Oh, so appreciative. Thank you so much for joining us if you are new here.
Yeah.
And today I want us to talk about how our mental health can get in the way of our professional success, of our goals, of our ability to really do well in the work that we are in.
For sure.
And I personally have experienced that before, and we'll touch on burnout within this conversation. And I'm sure that you have as well. I think this is, again, one of those overarching pieces of being human that is true. And just like even a wider perspective on this topic outside of what you might have personally experienced, I think it's important to kind of take into account that 76% of U.S. employees reported experiencing at least one symptom of mental health in 2021. So one symptom of a mental health condition, whether that is, feeling a lower mood, not having as much energy, all kinds of different things can contribute to that. Mental health issues cause the loss of 12 billion working days globally, resulting in $1 trillion in lost productivity. And burnout is recognized as a major issue, with 59% of workers reporting that they are affected by stress or burnout. So over half.
Wow.
And then just some pieces that I think are important for us to understand as a society too, is that 1 in 5 people are experiencing a mental illness each year. And that's 20%. Not only that, I'd say that's actually pretty low reporting, because 67% of people with a mental health issue don't seek treatment because of the stigma or fear of judgment.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who are not seeking help. And even, it's sad, but there's people who have also, taken their lives, as we know, and the 12th leading cause of death is suicide. So within just what we can do in our workplace, personally, and society, it's good for us to reflect on our mental health, because we are human beings, not human doings.
Right.
So productivity is not the be all end all, but we do need to think about our self-care and rest to make sure that we're showing up and being our best self.
Absolutely. Yeah. So then, you could confidently say that the economy would behoove our country to invest in mental health because the economy depends on it. The economy would be way more fit. Yeah, because you think about the jobs that you just hated going to, where you had a toxic boss, and you knew that there was just so much pressure and all this stuff. But then you remember your jobs where you had a really cool boss that you were right now. I'm so thankful because I just started a job a couple months ago where my boss and we talk about everything. It's crazy. She's one of my best friends now, and it's become and I started that job with a really heavy heart, and I was upfront about that, and she's really that it's really helped me sort of get my footing back, and I can totally attest to just
the
creating
power of having good leadership that you feel really open
or
with.
Safe leadership.
Safe
where
leadership.
People recognize your humanness. You can be human. You're expected to perform though. We do have this agreement. You can't be just depressed and unproductive, but you're allowed to be human. You can talk. I love it.
I love this quote from Mr. Rogers. We've probably said it before, but anything that's human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we can talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. And that's beautiful. I think that's such a good welcome introduction to mental health, when it might feel like something that is initially an uncomfortable topic for someone.
Yeah.
So let's just brainstorm first. What are all the ways that our mental and emotional stress can affect us when it comes to our work, even if it's work you love, to be honest? I'm my own boss, and I've put myself in positions where I have too much stress to kind of show up the way that I would like to. But what comes up for you when you think of that question? How does it affect you?
Yeah. Well, just recently, I was dealing with a lot of post-traumatic stress. I'm not going to say it's a disorder, but just a lot of recent trauma that I hadn't healed from. And so my intrusive thoughts were just the loudest voice in my head. And so it was really, really difficult for me to focus on anything, because I'm just constantly ruminating.
Yeah.
And then, a couple people suggested, James, you might have ADHD, which I always thought I did. And so then thankfully I got looked at, and they diagnosed me, and then that really, really helped me, because it stopped my intrusive thoughts. And I'm not saying that's the path for everyone, but at some point. But then also simultaneously, I had really gone all in and committed to my personal healing. And that is probably more to credit than the treatment, because, sorry. And
no, keep kind because you had shared with me something asking, someone said this, and kind of throwing it out there as bait to see what my opinion was about whether you had ADHD. I don't even know if I let you finish the sentence. I was like, yes, you do. yes.
Well, I've always known that I have all the symptoms, every single one. But I was always like so against like Adderall and the treatment, and then like I tried it and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like my most pure, authentic self in this moment, you know?
Yeah, for people who, truly need a medication, it is important that they have access to it. But this is a conversation, James, for the episode about ADD and ADHD.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
That part. Okay. All right.
Well, you asked me my personal experience.
Sorry. So a mental and emotional stress looks like low confidence, taking on, like it's difficult to take on a new skill or task. Low job performance, productivity, not getting as much done. I think focus is a part of that.
Yeah.
Kind of like, where was I even at? I know for me, it's harder for me to, kind of similar to what I just said, but it's harder for me to take on the tasks that I dislike. So it piles up. Low morale. Workplace relationships suffer, or there can become, I think, tension in the workplace, especially in competitive work environments. That's what I see, which is really unfortunate. But when you're under a lot of stress, you start to kind of be more on the defense and like, who is out there to get me?
Yeah.
Career advancements are delayed or might not even take place because so much of what we show up with in the work that we do involves having to work with people, oftentimes having to be on top of those responsibilities, a poor work-life balance, and there's a larger organizational impact, some of which I'd already shared and described. So I have a little quiz for you.
Okay.
All right. According to data from the World Health Organization and other studies, it is estimated that about what % of all sick days are due to mental health related issues?
Oh, I'm going to say 20%.
You're right.
What, really?
Yeah. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, all right. Well, you got lucky. Here we go.
Wow.
A significant portion of long-term absences from work are due to mental health issues. According to various studies, mental health problems account for approximately what % of long-term absences from work?
You're quizzing me again?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 15%.
50.
Ooh, okay, I'm way off on that one.
50% of mental health problems account for long-term absences.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess I took a hiatus from my career at one point because I went to a mental health facility. So
yeah. And that's something that, when I have clients that I'm working with and they're really struggling, it's negatively impacting them to the point of their health is being impacted.
Yeah, and it does affect your physical health.
It does. Yes, you're one organism. Your brain and your body are interconnected, and there are hormones and chemicals and neurotransmitters that are all involved in that and play a big role in your health. So when it gets to that point, it is something to consider, and it is not a sign of weakness. It is you taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one though.
Okay.
According to a survey by LinkedIn, what % of professionals said that they would not work at a leading company if it meant that they had to tolerate a bad workplace culture, which included poor mental health support?
I'm going to say 90%.
70%.
See, that's too low. I feel like if we have enough self-respect as a society, it should be 100%. Like, don't tolerate that bullshit, I
think that, there are people who are really interested more so in the accolades or what it might look like if they were to say, I work at Google or Starbucks, not necessarily as a barista, but like if you were working at some big company, they are interested in the prestige and, different levels of emotional intelligence may or may not feel the importance of mental health. So I'm not bothered by the 70%. However, 70% is still very much the majority of people who are interested in a healthy workplace culture. So again, as anyone who, not just as an employee, but anyone who is an employer, very much should be invested in what that might look like.
Yeah. So if you're one of those like shark bosses, then you're becoming an endangered species, and rightfully so.
Bye-bye. You need this training. That's what we'll say.
Yeah.
And there's also that constant irritability and frustration that can come with feeling low, feeling overwhelmed or hopeless, a lack of enthusiasm for things that you would enjoy, and social withdrawal. Those are all things that we should really consider. It's interesting in those, we have an episode about interactive cards, and it's really just an opportunity to kind of like look at these different images, and it's almost a projective assessment of what does this image conjure up for you or mean to you. But there's this one that comes up frequently of someone like holding the weight of the world on their shoulders. And that is always coming up when it is about work and the weight of it all, or the weight of being a parent and the responsibilities. And you can tell then about the tension that those people also carry in their shoulders. Even you can feel their shoulders kind of rise even as they are re-experiencing it by describing what's going on. So for me, it's definitely like upper back tightness, muscle tightness might be some beginning things that I notice, but definitely when it starts affecting my sleep or I'm getting frequent headaches, those are some of my personal cues that I've had to learn to find and take in as messengers, not meant to be ignored, but how do I adjust so that I'm taking better care of myself?
For sure.
Are there any things that you notice, or are there any common things that your body responds?
Well, actually, I have Tourette's, and so my nervous system is something that's like always just kind of my focus. And so recently, I started paying attention to like how my nervous system responds to certain things, and that's become like my compass. And so although, like with it didn't really relate to my work. It was more just like my personal life. But I think it is important to pay attention because, like, when I would think about, like, I was doing things that were really triggering me all the time, and it was like almost like poisoning my soul. So to speak into like how your mental health does affect like your total physical health, that's what I was thinking about because I would remember that while I was like having an anxiety attack, and then it would trigger more anxiety because I'm like, I'm killing myself, you know? So. Right.
I remember, I was working at the largest elementary school in the state of Washington at the time here in the Tri-Cities. And we had over 900 students, and I was the only counselor.
Wow.
So I was just like running and putting out fires and trying to like manage everything every day. And I was also in a really unhealthy relationship and feeling very stuck. And I remember just thinking, I think I had like just turned 30, and I was like, is this what it feels like? Shit. Like, I have aches and pains all over. My stomach hurts all the time. I'm not sleeping. I have headaches all the time. And it was very much the level of stress that had just kind of been like a lobster boiling in water, which means that it starts out in cold water, but that lobster isn't paying attention as it gradually gets hotter. And it's really important for us to take in those warning signs that are coming on, because stress is also what leads to so many of the top different health conditions that people are dying of at rapid rates, like heart disease and even like diabetes is related to our stress level and can have an impact. So definitely make sure to pay attention to that. Mental health is very much a part of total health.
Would you say that that slow like cooking made you crabby?
That was a good one. One. Sometimes I won't.
What's funny is that whenever a joke like that pops in my head, you'll be talking, and that all I can think about is I'm waiting for your lips to stop moving so I can say the joke. I'm just kidding.
Gosh, you're not kidding, but I know.
I heard everything you said though.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, so I have some self-care tips that these are not just related to how you would perform in the workplace, but just your overall well-being. This is to help you feel more grounded and in whatever is overwhelming you, because we all have things that we feel overwhelmed by. I don't know if there's very many moments in anyone's life where they're like, everything is going damn perfect. You know, that's just not the case. A wise friend of mine once said, the best you can hope for is for better problems. And I think that that's much more accurate.
Yeah. I almost want to stay away from people who say everything's perfect. It's like, you're fucking lying.
They might be lying to themselves, man. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. So the first one is gratitude. And this might feel like an eye roll, because I think it can sometimes be misconstrued as some kind of toxic positivity where people are just saying like, it's not that bad, look on the bright side. But I'm saying you, from your heart, need to take the time to really think about what you feel grateful for, because in studies where they had a group of people that were practicing gratitude and gathering together to share what they were grateful for, there was a group where they were coming together to just basically complain and talk about the things that were not going well in their life and commiserate. And then there was a control group that didn't have any kind of goal to why they were gathering. The group that was practicing gratitude had a 25% decrease in any negative emotions and an increase in happiness.
Wow.
So that's pretty large. And it's just retraining your brain, actually forming a new connection that's seeking out and looking for the good, as if saying, oh, look at that, good things happen to me.
Yeah. And it's also like, it's worth noting that like it forces you to focus on like the ever present now, you know?
Yeah.
Because like most of the anxiety happens when you're stressed about the future or ruminating in the past. But yeah, every morning when I get to work, I write out my gratitudes. I've done it every single day that I've been there. And then I write affirmations also of like this lofty goal that I have. And the two things together, the act of gratitude just like focuses you regardless of what storms I was battling before I got there, you know? But no, I 100% agree. Cause like, yeah, if you, the one mental shift I've had recently is just realizing that there is no such thing as the future or the past. Like the only thing that exists is, the infinite now. So if you acknowledge and you stay like focused and grounded into the things that are right in front of you and you're thankful for them, that's going to put you right on the correct path.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to disqualify the positive things. And, you know, our brain is already kind of geared towards survival, which means looking for risk. But we then have to make an effort to celebrate those small wins and accomplishments, to acknowledge that progress and to stay motivated. That reduces that feeling of being stuck. And so I think it's a really important thing. And it can, like in my family, we try to every night during dinner say the 3 things we're grateful for that have happened that day. But some other things that you could do is just doing a gratitude journaling, like you had said. I think sharing it with another person can maximize it. So you could even have some kind of, goal with a friend to check in or to send a text about what you're grateful for back and forth, have some accountability. You could do a gratitude meditation. There's a lot of those that you could find. Maybe I should record one. I just had that thought. And then in the workplace, when it comes to gratitude, like share your appreciation with colleagues, create an atmosphere that is supportive and positive, because when you're getting that feedback for anyone of acknowledgement of some effort that you've put in, you want to do it more.
Right.
You want to show up more. It feels good.
Yeah. And also you just have no idea how sometimes people are just so needing a little bit of encouragement,
It can mean so much. And I think we should take the time to do that.
Totally. Yeah. Don't sit quietly.
What are 3 things you're grateful for today, James?
I was just about to ask you 3 things I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for friends that speak up and, in that encouragement. I'm thankful for our podcast and the growth. And I'm thankful for how hard I've worked and where I'm at in my own life, because I don't want to go too hard on it, but anyway, I've committed to making myself proud, and I have. Anyway, what are 3 things you're thankful for?
No, you shouldn't feel bad about that. You should feel good about it.
Well, I just don't want to make it all I don't want to talk about myself for half an hour, but anyway.
3 things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful. My husband was sick, so I'm grateful that he is feeling better today. Yeah. That makes life a lot easier for everybody. I'm grateful I had a really fun training that I was a part of as a participant this morning, and that was very enjoyable and cool. And I'm grateful for this podcast, and when there's just a heartfelt comment, or I've gotten to have some discovery calls with people that will now become clients that I get to work with. And I'm so excited about that, to know that the care that we're putting out there is felt, that really means a lot. And that really feels like there's important ripple effects to what we're starting.
Yeah, it's so amazing just that we have like really put ourselves out there with vulnerability and like authenticity, and there's such a response. Yeah, but there's been such a reciprocation, and I'm so thankful for all of our listeners. I love you with all of my heart, and you guys are like the salt of the earth and the light of the world.
Oh, delightful humans. This ties in about a year ago. We did our like social media cleanse, but doing a phone detox, reducing your time that you're spending on your smartphone, deleting apps that steal your time, charge your phone away from your bed. Just practice being more present in the moment. You will, on your tombstone or on your dying days, it's not going to say, you're not going to express, I just wish that I would have watched more shows.
Right. You know what's funny? I didn't realize it was a year ago because right now I've been about 3 weeks in to my social media. I deactivated all my socials. I still have like cheated a tiny bit here and there, but that's okay. Anyway, not anywhere near where I was. But yeah, one thing I noticed is that is a coping mechanism for me. So like when I feel rejected or discouraged about something, I immediately want to like, oh, I'm going to get back on my socials. But then I'm like, no, I'm going to sit with this discomfort.
Exactly. Yeah. For so many people, it's a way to numb and distract themselves. But oftentimes it is in our suffering and discomfort where we can find a lot of answers and keys. And honestly, and that's what kind of spiritual moments or enlightened moments have you had that happened amid distraction? They happen in stillness.
Right. Exactly.
So go get yourself some good ideas and get off of the social media. Take a little bit of a break.
Totally. Yeah.
This one, a lot of these might be like no-brainers, but I think it's still important reminders. Maintaining good sleep hygiene, consistent sleep schedule, calming activity before bed, limiting screen time, avoiding stimulants before bed, and trying to stay physically active during the day so that your body is really ready to fall asleep. Your brain needs sleep in order to function well. This is my kryptonite. I do not function well with low sleep. It's not pretty.
Nobody does,
It's not pretty, folks.
They say like there's like some study where they found people who were like super sleep deprived and they were experiencing psychosis,
Oh yeah. There was, you know what? I just remembered this. In grad school, there was this video that they showed, and it was about this disease that ran within a family, but it was so very rare. They literally couldn't sleep and they would eventually go crazy and die.
Jeez.
It's terrible, but it proves how much you need sleep. So don't do that.
Did they try melatonin? I'm just kidding. That's what everyone says.
And just sleep is such an important thing. In fact, even just tying back into social media, in studies with teens, they're on their phones and on social media too much. They're not getting enough sleep. And we're seeing like the culmination of that. There's many more reasons why social media and comparison, etc., are unhealthy factors, but it leads to more depression. This isn't a good way to treat your brain.
Well, and your body only heals when it's sleeping. Did you know that?
Yes, it's a restorative time. It's what our brain needs. And more so than our body, it's our brain that needs it.
Yeah.
There's no study to this. It is my own. This is the Kaylani self-care tip. Create a little warm fuzzy file on your computer or a physical file if needed, but with like compliments, kind words, good memories, favorite photos. And visit this folder when you're needing a little boost or need to remember that you are important and that you matter.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a nice one. I have some things I saved from my elementary school counselor days, sweet little notes from my daughter, my husband. And those are things that can be a nice boost if you're having a really rough day.
I have a folder on my computer. It makes me feel better, but it's not, I wouldn't call it warm fuzzies.
I don't want to know.
I'm just kidding.
I don't want to know.
I don't have anything like that on my computer.
We're going to moving right along. Okay. Maintain a healthy diet that supports your brain function and improves resilience to stress. I actually just finished a integrative mental health certificate, which just means like incorporating the brain and the body together and nutrition. So I want to quiz you. What do you think is the number one food that has all of the nutrients that best support your brain?
Potatoes.
No. Potatoes.
Avocado.
Well, no, but you're getting closer at least. Healthy
Broccoli.
fats. Eggs.
Oh.
Okay.
Eggs. Okay, that's interesting.
And another self-care tip, make time for play and creativity. Playful individuals are more resilient to stress and report higher levels of psychological well-being as well as physiological well-being. So current research suggests that play can be an essential tool for mitigating the negative effects of stress, and creativity is an outlet for stress. This is definitely something that I'm learning to lean into more. You know, I was raised by a very workaholic family and very entrepreneurial family. And sometimes it's easy for me to like take on too much before I realize it. And I'm really in a phase of wanting to invite more play.
Yeah.
So what feels like play and fun for you, or creativity?
Well,
fun?
it's crazy because like who I am just naturally, I'm a very playful, fun person, but because of like in the last couple of years, things have been hard. So I haven't been able to really experience it. But for me, your question, just like, I don't know, just going like traveling, watching shows, going, yeah, I don't know.
I think you need to sit with that one longer.
I do.
Okay,
I think it's been so long since I've actually had a vacation.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
maybe I'll ask you next week.
Okay.
You can tell me what comes up.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely, just get and honestly a vacation for me. Just if I get out of the zip code, I feel a shift, and that feels really nice. Play and creativity. I love to paint, and I have not done that in a while. That feels really fun. Or drawing. I really like being creative. I used to like kind of refinishing furniture, and that was fun. Gardening is fun. Dancing to music with my daughter and being silly. So there's a lot of things that can be very playful and fun. Going to concerts and just like, what lets you feel more free? Those are questions that I want all of our listeners to sit with. And how can you invite more of that in?
Totes.
I think a holistic approach to mental health and wellness is really important. And that's really what I want to drive home, because this is an approach that not only encourages your personal mental health, but it adds to your professional growth, and it shows how our mental wellness can lead to a stronger, more engaged workforce with a more not just productivity, because that feels like it's to the benefit maybe of the company unless it's work that you're really passionate about, but it also leads to just a healthier workplace. And that's something that we all want, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I just so very much encourage anyone to take into account not just those personal things that you can do, but how can you bring maybe more conversations about mental health into the workplace? And if you are a leader of some sort or a manager at your company, a lot of major companies are taking on mental health with more rigor. Unilever, Google, Microsoft, Nike, Starbucks, Johnson & Johnson, all of these companies have really looked at mental health and had wellness programs and trainings, more open dialogue with leadership, employee assistance programs, more flexible work arrangements. And Dr. Bronner's, which is a soap company that a lot of people are familiar with, they actually pay for 100% of their employees to receive ketamine-assisted psychotherapy.
Oh, wow.
So that's very, very cool and very progressive of them. Mm-hmm. But if you are at a company and you're noticing that there are some issues related to mental health that are affecting these areas we've discussed when it comes to the workplace dynamics and productivity, maybe you could be someone that advocates for more of these steps to be made within the leadership of your company. That would be a very brave and cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And my last thing, if you're wanting more information, is go just search professional quality of life assessment. And they have other assessments related to burnout and compassion fatigue as well. But that will be a nice gauge for you or for, again, any colleagues or people that you're working with to assess what is the quality of the workplace that we're in. What is this workplace environment, and how are we really affected by that? So, we all have to figure out how to find that work-life balance. And I just encourage all of you to make sure that you're taking care of yourself along the way.
Yeah, definitely. Take care of yourself.
Thank you so much, Delightful Humans, for joining us for this episode. And if you have not yet checked out our YouTube, please do so. There's fun stuff over there. We have a lot more content.
We're going to release.
We have more ideas.
We're going to start a new one.
Yes. James came up with an idea to do reactions to, well, I guess we've done to some shows.
Yeah.
And some,
well, this one's going to be called The Moral of the Story, where we, you could probably join also too. I mean, where my weird worldview, I'm gonna give some hot takes on movies. Anyway, so you'll see.
Yeah, suggest some movies.
Yeah, definitely suggest us some movies.
Yeah. This is our way of being creative here on the channel. So we're dabbling. All right, we will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining us, Delightful Humans.
Bye-bye.